The new season is here, and this means top 5 decks that you can use for this season and the beginning of the next month to reach Master 1, the best decks in the game right now, according to my opinion. Let's start. For my number 5, I would give this place to Centur-Ion, receiving their new support here, making them way better. You can play a Red Supernova Dragon and a Cosmic Blazer Dragon. You could also, with all of these new cards, go ahead and play 2 Cosmic Blazer Dragons. This is for you to decide. With the full combo, which is not hard to accomplish, you can definitely summon 2 Cosmic Blazer Dragons, one on your turn, one on the opponent's turn. And let's be honest, if you can establish 2 Cosmic Blazer Dragons, then the game is just over. In this new version, we want to play 2 Failings here. Failings very important to resummon one of our Centur-Ion bodies, which now will be a Centur-Ion Primera Primus. We have the new R3, which can randomly draw, giving us another tuner that can also not be a tuner if it wants to. So extremely strong. This list is playing Ghost Dog and Snow Rabbit just to destroy some of the Blue Eyes stuff. Blue Eyes is definitely around. And as you can see, we are combining this with a heavy Bestial engine. And this is the reason why I gave this deck the 5th spot over something like Memento, which is also a good deck, I think. By the way, there's a Memento guide on the channel if you want to learn the deck. Also, it's a Centur-Ion guide. Go check that out. The fact that we can play this heavy Bestial engine, and this definitely goes together with our Centur-Ion stuff, I think it makes the deck a bit better right now, since if you have played the ladder, you have seen that there are a lot of Blue Eyes players around. The deck is really good, Blue Eyes Primite, and the Bestials are extremely good against the Blue Eyes deck. If you can banish their Blue Eyes monsters, then basically it's game over. So the entire Bestial stuff here is super strong. You could also play something like a Bestial Control deck with Fiendsmith stuff maybe. You could also, and I've seen this and played this, Bestial Primite Fiendsmith. It's all about this Bestial Control variant that is very good. And then you have this really strong engine of Centur-Ion, now even better with a crazy end board. And I think Centur-Ion is really nice. Obviously going second, maybe not that great, but we have the Fuvalos for that, and the Maxis, and a lot of hand traps to maybe stop our opponent, have a nip here, and then obviously the Bestials in order to stop our opponent. But Centur-Ion very strong, and once again, honorable mention for the 5th spot is definitely Memento, which I think in the current meta environment is a bit worse than this, because of the Bestials being so good against Blue Eyes. Centur-Ion at its full power moment. If you want to play it now, because obviously the deck will only get weaker in the future, not receiving any more support, at least for now. So it's Centur-Ion time to shine. And if the Snake Eye stuff gets hit, I think this will even be better, since this is not that great against Snake Eyes with all of this Bestials. But Centur-Ion, my number 5. My number 4 would still go to White Forest. In this case, we are playing this Millennium version here. I think the deck is just super solid. Has received the Zapper Shrimp that you can now summon with the Diabell Queen of the White Forest. But it's not that super important here. It doesn't make the big difference, but it's nice having this. The Zapper Shrimp can, if this card is special summoned, you can send one other card from your hand or field to the graveyard, then target one spell trap your opponent controls, destroy it. And then you can also synchro summon with this via Quick Effect. So nice. You can, for example, go with your Diabell and your Zapper Shrimp into a Baron de Fleur, which is obviously great. So receiving a new power spike, if you want to call it that. But still, this engine is super strong. We can play the Millennium stuff still. We don't play the Beatrice anymore, obviously, but we don't really need to. And then we are playing like a lot of hand traps. As you can see, there's a lot of space. We are playing the Fuvas. You can discard for the Deception. You can discard for the Diabell Star, as I have mentioned in the last month's video. If you can play the Fuva together with this Diabell Star / Azamina engine, it's way better since you can discard it. We have the Snake Eyes Doom Dragon that you can make with your entire Millennium stuff. It's also very good in breaking the board. You can put one of your opponent's monsters in the spell trap zone. A lot of very strong synchro monsters available to you. This deck is obviously very nice going first, has a lot of different pushes, so not only it rarely ever does it get stopped by like ashing or imperming like Sylvie, because there are a lot of extenders that you could use, the Millennium stuff, the Tails, the Deception, the Diabell Star line. You could have Elset, you could have the Azamina Elset, you could have this special summon Lucia, and then continue from there. A lot of different, it's like Snake Eyes with the Millennium stuff, but a bit worse, since the extenders work not as good as as they do in Snake Eyes, but it's still super solid. Not seeing it a lot, I have to say. It's not super fan favorite. I have I'm getting the feeling that it's not super fan favorite, but still a very strong deck, and will also receive extremely strong support in the future. So it's definitely at a good point, and receives my number 4 spot for this month. My number 3 goes to Tenpai Dragon, because I think this is still very strong if you play it correctly, and playing it correctly means, in my opinion, using this Blaster and Gold Sarcophagus package here, because now we are missing even more consistency with the Sengen Kaimen. We already played this Blaster Gold Sarcophagus package before, but I think now it's mandatory. I think it makes sense to play 2 Genroku. It makes sense to play 1 Dora as an additional starter, because this is the one thing that could happen not having a starter, which is bad. And the cool thing about the Blaster Gold Sarcophagus combo is that this is also an extender, right? So let's say you start with your Tenpai Dragon Pydra and it gets impumped or something, then you can go the Blaster Gold Sarcophagus line to grab the Chandra and then still be live, which is very nice. The Blaster is also nice if you open it in your hand. If this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can banish a total of 2 fire and dragon monsters from hand or graveyard and special summon this. And also you can discard this card and 1 fire monster to the graveyard and target 1 card on the field, destroy the target. Very nice in playing into a board, because sometimes you have multiple Tenpai Dragons in the hand and you can only normal summon 1, for example. So I don't know, if you have like Fadra in the hand and then also Pydra, that's bad, but then you can discard the Fadra to revive it later on with the Biden Dragon and also destroy a card on the field, which is very nice. And then keep in mind that you can also still summon this Blaster from the graveyard. So this works perfectly. We are obviously playing the Fuvalos. I'm playing 1 Mulch Army Purulia. For the second Mulch Army Purulia, which normally should be in here, I put in a Fantastical Dragon Phantasme. If you have another Purulia, I would say swap that out for this Purulia, because at the moment Purulia is quite nice. Blue eyes everywhere, and they are normally summoning multiple times from the hand. At least they want to summon 2. So getting a Purulia into 2 draws is extremely nice, since we also have Maxis, Fuvalos that we can chain afterwards. We are playing a lot of hand traps, obviously. Playing Nibiru, we are playing the Breaker stuff, Heavy Storm, Happy's Feather Duster, super nice against Blue eyes if they don't play the Jet Dragon, that is, but most of them don't. We are playing Lightning Storms, we are playing Droplets to dodge stuff, and then we are playing the new Dominus Inputs, an extremely strong card that makes sense in this deck. It only conflicts with Light, Earth and Wind with the Fuvalos, so if you have the Dominus Inputs in the hand with the Fuvalos, then keep that in mind, and yeah, use your interruptions accordingly, basically. And then for the extra deck, basically the same. We are playing in this version more Senpai Biden Dragions. You could also think about bumping this down to 2 and putting 1 more Transcendent Dragon in if you see a lot of like Kashtira, because if Kashtira rips you your boss monster or rips you your 1 Biden Dragon, this was the problem with the Fiendsmith variant, then it's very bad, because how do you win the game then? So if you face a lot of Kashtira, then bump this down to 2, put 1 more Transcendent Dragon in, because then you still have your boss monster alive. Otherwise, we have a lot of utility cards here for Jubel, for example, which is a bad matchup for us. We have the Star Slayer. Sometimes we can win the game by slowing it down a bit, destroying our opponent's field, but not being able to kill them. Slow it down and the next turn kill them. So Tenpai Dragon is still strong, especially in my opinion, because a lot of people will just be going first. There are not a lot of people playing Tenpai at the moment, so you will go second a lot, which is what you want, right? And this is why I think Tenpai might even be better in an environment where there are not a lot of Tenpai players around, because then you can consistently go second. So Tenpai Dragon is still my number 3 for this month. My number 2 for this month is Snake Eyes. Still, I have a version here with Kashtira. You can play it like this, you don't need to. Kashtira Unicorn is just amazing, being able to rip off 1-offs from your opponent's extra deck. As you can see right here, for example, this is only playing 1-offs. So imagine a Kashtira Unicorn hitting this extra deck. It is insane. You're still playing the Millennium version. You can definitely also play the Azamina version, which I think is now better than before, but the Millennium version is still strong. We are playing the Fiendsmith stuff. We are playing everything that you know. We are playing the Fuvalos that we can discard with Diabellstar, discard with not the Deception, but the Diabellstar, as I already said. So this deck obviously is still strong. We have lost the Beatrice, which is bad. We would have kept the Beatrice if we could have, but I think it doesn't really make the big difference. Yes, we cannot bridge from our Fiendsmith stuff into our Snake Eyes stuff anymore. I think it doesn't really matter since we have so many starters, so many extenders, Diabell Star, Bonfire, we have the OSS, we have Wanted for the Diabell Star, we have our base monsters here, then the Millennium stuff, Fiendsmith stuff, then also Kashtira. So a lot of stuff that you can combine here. If one push gets stopped, you normally have another one. So the deck is still super solid all the way around, going first and going second in my opinion, since the Snake Eyes engine is still extremely strong. At some point they will have to hit this, otherwise this will be a top contender forever probably. So yeah, hit the OSS or something, kill the deck please some time, because it has been around for such a long time and will stay very, very good and very consistent. We can play so many non-engine but still be super consistent. So as I already said, we are playing this Millennium version here, but you can also play the Asamina version. Both of them are very great and both of them would receive my second place for this month. And now let's talk about the first place. I might be a bit biased here. This is a bit edgy, I know. Let me know in the comments what you think of this, but I honestly think that Primite Blue Eyes might be the best deck at the moment. It's not a far reach compared to Snake Eyes. It's not like Snake Eyes is like 60% and Blue Eyes is 100%. It's more like 95 and 100, right? But I think this is extremely strong deck, works really, really well going second and going first. Super consistent, super solid. The Primate engine definitely gives this deck a lot of advantage points, makes it even more consistent. Nice grind game. The Drill Beam is just an insane card. We can play Purge. Purge is super good in this current meta. We have a super solid extra deck. We don't even need to go for the Cosmic Blazer Dragon, basically winning the game anymore. Sometimes Seals with your Primate stuff can just be enough. The only thing that could happen is that a lot of people are playing a lot of Bestials, and then we might have a problem and this deck might drop down a bit. But this is as to be expected. When a deck is being played a lot, then people are going to tech against it, and then it gets worse. Same thing as the Tenpai situation, which I just talked about. But honestly, Blue Eyes Fiendsmith is it. It's at its nearly strongest point right now. We are only missing the Light Storm Dragon. So if you want to play this deck, this will stay relevant for a while. And I also think this will not really be hit. I don't see any hits happening to this. Maybe in the future, if we get the rest of the Primite cards, and the Primite engine has so much potential, is so strong. But this deck has been around in the OCG and TCG for a while now, especially in the OCG, and has not received a single hit, despite being one of the top 3 decks for most of the time. So this is a deck that is pretty like safe in my opinion, and still super strong. And if the power level gets put down more, hitting Snake Eyes that is, then this deck becomes even better. So I think one of the best future investments is Blue Eyes Primate. Insane deck, and my personal number 1 for this month. But now I'm very interested in your opinion. Let me know in the comments what your top 5 decks would be. What do you think I am missing here? What is your opinion on me putting Primate Blue Eyes first? Let me know. If you like my videos, please consider subscribing, getting a thumbs up and the notification bell, and we will see each other in the next one.